Hello and welcome to the Football News Zone, the show where we round up all the biggest stories in the beautiful game right now. We're back from the international break, but which stories have caught our attention this week? This week we look into the latest controversy surrounding Chelsea's matchday tickets, MLS has announced pro-rel, and are Premier League referees paid too much? We take a look at all that and a lot more in today's show. Let's dive in. So I was driving around today and I had a little listen on the radio, and there was an interesting story that was developing really with Chelsea and their owner Todd Boehly. Now, allegedly, there are some very, very expensive tickets being resold. Actually, not allegedly. There are some very expensive tickets being resold, not only for Chelsea matches, but for other football games and other events such as music concerts as well on this website. Now, you might think, well, that's a bit immoral, but that doesn't sound, that's not completely out of place. Tickets in general are very expensive, but the way these tickets are actually inflated in terms of their price is something quite incredible. And then when you realize that this website, Vivid Seats it is called, is actually co-owned by Todd Boehly, it's part of his business empire, then you start to see a little bit of dodginess here. Now, this is something that's been brewing under the surface for a bit of time now, but the Chelsea supporters have actually written an open letter in opposition to this. So let's have a look at this, guys. Real crazy situation yet again at Chelsea, this time off the pitch rather than on it, although I guess it's really the transfers that cause the most kind of headaches really for Chelsea fans. But yeah, you can see where the controversy really lies with this one, but I'll read out this article here on BBC Sports. A shout out to these guys for covering it. Chelsea Supporters Trust has asked the Premier League to act and investigate co-owner Todd Boehly's involvement in ticket reselling website Vivid Seats. In an open letter to the league's chief executive Richard Masters, the group reiterates a past complaint that Boehly's involvement in Vivid Seats as a director and investor, while also owning a 13% stake in Chelsea, is a breach of trust and a conflict of interest. It also highlights how Vivid is listed as an unauthorized ticket website by the Premier League, allowing overseas fans to buy tickets unofficially for between £90 and £20,000. Chelsea Supporter Trust has also submitted evidence against the American company to the government's Department for Culture, Media and Sports, DCMS. In the letter, it said many CST members are clearly infuriated by this connection and have written to us. As a director of Chelsea FC and part owner, Mr. Boehly's connection with Vivid Seats is totally inappropriate and significantly undermines the efforts of Chelsea FC, the Premier League and the Metropolitan Police to combat ticket touting, aka scalping, as it's also known here in the UK. Mr. Boehly has also been contacted directly by the Trust and has been offered multiple opportunities to publicly and privately address supporters' concerns. Neither Mr. Boehly nor his representatives have, however, acted on these requests, and thousands of tickets remain for sale on the Vivid Seats website. Chelsea's official website states that the practice of ticket touting is illegal, and any tickets bought unofficially will be invalid with fans refused entry to the stadium. Vivid is legally allowed to operate overseas, but is prohibited for UK users. However, BBC Sport has been able to verify the website allows UK-based users to buy tickets, despite a pop-up disclaimer warning tickets for the EPL matches are not currently available for purchase in your location. So there's a warning there, but it doesn't stop you using it. I love stuff like that. You gotta love stuff like that. I don't, by the way. That's severe sarcasm there. Chelsea, Boehly's representatives and Vivid have yet to comment on the matter, but they have been approached by BBC Sport. The CST letter, which has also been backed by the Football Supporters Association, added, "It was encouraged by the club pledging to take action on ticket touting. An email has been sent to season ticket holders detailing a number of measures taken, although without naming Vivid Seats or other ticket resellers. There have been concerns about a flat atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, previously highlighted by previous manager Maurizio and echoed by current head coach Enzo Maresca at times this season. Chelsea will continue to trial a new singing section for the forthcoming Europa Conference League match against Legia Warsaw next month." So I hope that all makes sense, guys. Basically, these tickets are illegally being resold. So what is pretty much happening? Whenever you buy a ticket to football or any other kind of event, I believe, anything that's got an official ticket with your seat number on it and everything like that, you can't resell it legally. It is illegal to do so. Now, a lot of people do this, obviously. A lot of people do it. It's a tale as old as time. You go to a sellout event, and they, you know, people will get these tickets or get one ticket and think, you know what, people really want to go for this. I can sell this ticket for 4 times what I actually paid for it, and people will buy it. Some people will. It is immoral to do that. I don't think it's literally illegal, but even on a moral point of view, I think that's a bit crap, to be honest. I really do, and I always have done. I just think it's trying to price out people at the end of the day, and it's taking advantage of things. I mean, we've seen it in society so much. We saw it in the pandemic, of course. Let's not forget about the battle to get toilet paper and pasta in 2020. It wasn't easy. You could buy it for a fortune. I mean, we see it with things like Prime Energy drink and stuff like that. People will just want to get a hold of it and resell it for ridiculous profit. It's nothing new. It's nothing new, but it needs to be clamped down upon. And the fact that Boehly's a part investor, and that is a serious conflict of interest, because in theory, I'm not saying they are doing this. I'm just saying in theory, what they could do, what Boehly could do. And I'm not saying he's doing this. I'm just saying that in theory he could do this, and I'm not alleging that he has done so. For legal reasons, I just want to say, I'm not saying he's doing this, but he could, if he wanted to, get a section of those tickets for a certain game, you know, against Arsenal at home, Man United at home, someone like that. If he wanted to, he could get a section of them, 1,000 tickets maybe, put them on that website, say that officially they are sold on Chelsea's club website, put them onto Vivid Seats, sell them for thousands of pounds each instead of hundreds or tens. Making a lot of money there, aren't you? I'm just saying, he could do that. So there's a severe conflict of interest there, and we are seeing a lack of atmosphere in a lot of stadiums now in the UK, in England particularly, because of the ticket prices, I should say. I've noticed it when watching my club, Sheffield United, and we're a second-tier club in the Championship. You know, at times the atmosphere is absolutely flat as a pancake and we'll be winning, you know. Didn't used to be like that. Did not used to be like that. There's reasons why, I think, for us, to be honest, but at the end of the day, it's something that we see across a lot of Premier League games. It's nothing new. So if something needs to be done, will it? It should be, because it's listed as an unauthorised ticket seller and they are selling tickets. Boehly's on the board for both Chelsea and Vivid Seats. So in theory, he should and could and has to do something about it. But will he? I don't think he'll do it willingly, to be honest, but we'll see what happens. I think they'll just want to ride the wave of this one, just see it out. Nothing to see here, mate, but we'll see what happens. Your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Are you a Chelsea fan? Are you disgusted by this behaviour of your co-owner? Have you been to games recently? Have you noticed the atmosphere being flat like the article outlines? Your thoughts in the comments below. So you might have seen a news announcement regarding US football, or US soccer as they prefer to call it, because it's actually being pretty shaken up in a few years' time. Now, the chat of pro-rel, promotion and relegation in the American soccer leagues, is something that has been on the cards for a very long time. It's something they've been wanting to bring in, but it's never quite got over the line, and fans are quite divided on whether it's actually a good thing for a number of different reasons, which we will get into. But I did want to highlight this as an announcement because it is groundbreaking, effectively, to have this in an American sports league. The very notion of promotion and relegation is something that is just not a part of American sports. If you look to the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, the NHL, none of them have that. It's just something that American sports teams don't do because they're not teams, they are franchises. It's a different kind of scene completely over there. But I wanted to go over what has been agreed, what kind of form it'll take, and the advantages and disadvantages of having promotion and relegation. Because in theory, I think it's a good thing. It does make it more in line with other football leagues around the world, but it's not perfect either, and it could have some consequences when it actually when it comes to actually being implemented, both good and bad. But let me just go over what's happened here. So the first thing I'm going to go for here is just to show you the actual announcement and just the kind of shape that this is going to take, because I think this is coming in 2028. I think it's going to be confirmed actually in the second article I look at. So it's not coming in for a few seasons. It's not going to be something that immediately happens, but right now MLS, Major League Soccer, their equivalent of the Premier League essentially, is a massive league. I think you've got like 30 teams there, split into East and West. There's no promotion, there's no relegation. So there is no league that the worst teams in the MLS do drop into if they perform badly. Unlike the Premier League, for example, where if you perform really badly and you're in the bottom three, you go back down to the Championship next season. Whereas the three best teams, or at least the two best teams, and the one who wins the playoffs from the Championship, come to the Premier League to replace them every season, and the cycle keeps continuing. That's not a thing with MLS. You finish bottom, you get the best picks when it comes to the draft next season, because MLS has a draft, and that's a whole different topic I'm not going to get into in this video, because that is the biggest can of worms in American football, really, or American soccer. But what kind of form is this going to take? What is going to change here? Well, just going off of the news announcement here, it does appear as though MLS is not going to be a thing, or at least it's going to be rebranded to the USL Division 1, which is a newly launched league. The USL Championship will be below it, and then the USL League 1 Division 3, which is very confusing. Division 1 and League 1 almost means the same thing. Why not just keep it as MLS? I don't know. But that's the full news announcement there. You can read it over on the USL Soccer's website, but it is interesting read going over how they justify this and everything. But I wanted to go over to Sports Illustrated, because Sports Illustrated, I think, has done an excellent job of just going over the pros, the cons, what it all means and everything, because like I said, this is a completely alien concept to American football fans of association football in America. Now, I've used the S word a lot during this video. I don't normally do that, but I feel like I have to say it because it is what they call it, and it's literally part of the brand and the name and everything like that over there. So let me just go through this, guys, and just go over my kind of thoughts on it, whether I think it's a good idea for MLS to do this or a bad idea to do it, because yeah, like I said, there's some big pros and cons when it comes to promotion, relegation, pro-rel as they're calling it over in America. So shout out to Sports Illustrated for doing this article. Promotion and relegation is a system that is in place in almost every professional soccer league in the world. It's one that rewards success with the opportunity to climb to higher divisions, punishes failure with relegation to lower tiers, and is the bedrock upon which the competitive integrity of the sport is built. The American soccer pyramid, however, is unique. MLS acts as a closed league, meaning that teams cannot be relegated or promoted into it. This means that while many clubs in the USL Championship, which serves as the second tier of professional soccer in the US, aspire to grow and compete at the highest level, they remain locked out of MLS due to this franchise-based structure. The only way a new team can enter MLS is by paying a hefty expansion fee, which these days typically exceeds hundreds of millions of dollars. For example, the league's latest edition, San Diego FC, paid a record-breaking $500 million to secure their place in MLS for 2025. It's not unlike what Formula 1 has. If you guys are F1 fans, go over and follow my F1 channel. Well, it actually just rebranded to Formula Reports, I should say, but it was F1 Chronicle before that. But yeah, if you want to join that, which Cadillac have done, you have to pay an anti-dilution fee. That's essentially what this is, what San Diego has done, basically to get their slice of the pie and compensate those teams for the revenue they're losing out on because of that, because TV deals are agreed with the league, not with the actual clubs or the franchises. To compensate for that, they have to pay an anti-dilution fee, and it's the same thing with MLS over here as well. So that fee is only ever going to increase as well as more teams join the league, and the revenue also increases as well. So if another team wants to join in the near future, they may have to pay $600-700 million rather than $500 million, which is a lot of money. It's a big investment and doesn't exactly encourage expansion, I don't think, really. For years, the USL has expanded interest in adopting a promotion and relegation system within its own structure, with some advocates hoping that they could eventually be integrated into MLS, creating a more traditional soccer pyramid. However, MLS has shown little interest in incorporating relegation or changing its closed league format, and no significant progress has been made toward unifying the two leagues. So why does the USL so desperately want the American soccer to align more closely with global norms, and why is MLS so content to remain at its current state, continuing to forge its own unique path in the world of soccer? Now, of course, this has now changed. They have done this. They are announcing that this is, they have announced they're going to change it. But let's have a look at the reasons why they may have, well, let's go over first for the ones that, they've actually wanted to go for. Let's have a look at the positives of implementing this. These are the reasons that they are hoping will actually encourage some more interest in the league, really. There's plenty of arguments as to why MLS should be an open league, both sporting and financial. The division's current closed model provides no sporting or financial incentive for teams in lower leagues to improve, while teaching those within the MLS that there are no real consequences for failure or even prolonged mediocrity. Take Louisville City FC, for example, which have won the USL Championship twice since its inception in 2014. Despite being the league's most successful team ever, it remains stuck in the division with no path to the MLS. Furthermore, it has received no significant financial reward for its success, revenue that otherwise helped the club grow and compete on a larger scale. On the other hand, consider Chicago Fire, which have finished last in MLS's overall standings on 3 occasions and second to last in 2024. Despite its relative indifference on the field, the team remains a top-flight club simply because of its status within the closed league, benefiting from media deals and league revenue that its performances do little to justify. MLS's current structure fosters stagnation, whether by keeping high-performing lower division clubs locked out of promotion or allowing underachieving teams to coast along with no repercussions. It creates a cycle of complacency that undermines true competitive growth. In 2016, according to Deloitte, transforming the MLS and broader American soccer pyramid into an open system could benefit the sport in the US from top to bottom. The report, which is commissioned by Silver International Investments, owners of the USL Championship side Miami FC, argued that implementing promotion and relegation would boost attention, leading to higher attendances and increased broadcast viewership, and push towards improving their teams and infrastructure, whether to achieve promotion or avoid relegation. It's also claimed that an open soccer pyramid would strengthen the overall soccer ecosystem through increased grassroots investments and ultimately result in a better and deeper player pool for the USMNT to draw from. And some of the people involved in American football as well, such as Jesse Marsh and the Red Bull people, also want to get it in as well. So that is the reason why. Now, the against reasons are largely financial, I do believe. So, because at the end of the day, if they're, as well just stop showing this, because I already know you can go and read the actual reasons on there, but I know the reasons why at the end of the day. Basically, if you're, for example, a new team like San Diego FC, you've invested $500 million and you get relegated in your first season, which you might well do because you're a new team. You're new to the kind of scene and everything. You want to protect your investment. You don't want it to lose value. And, in the Premier League, for example, if your club gets relegated for the Prem, the value of your club goes into 3. It goes down by 2/3 to 1/3 of what it was before. So you don't want your asset to depreciate. And obviously that has knock-on effects in terms of the quality of the team and the supporters and stuff suffering. But really, it's a business thing at the end of the day. They don't want that to lose their money like that. So for me, I think it's a positive thing. I think if you don't have the promotion relegation there's no jeopardy. You get games at the end of the season. I know the MLS has a playoff again, that's just very unique for American kind of sports, but when it comes to that, there's no jeopardy. There's no jeopardy at the end of the season for a lot of these teams. They'll be cut adrift. They're out of the playoffs. They can't get through to the playoffs. So why are they bothering trying? And then the fans won't turn up as well. It's just got a big knock-on effect at the end of the day. So I think it's a positive. I think it really would shape up things. And I'm really looking forward to see how it kind of, manifests itself in 2028. It's a long way away, but it's also not as well. So yeah, the USL Championship will join on to the bottom of the MLS. And how the MLS is going to be restructured, if it's even going to be restructured, I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting, and I think it is a good thing overall. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you like the fact that MLS has this unique structure, or was a change very overdue? Your thoughts in the comments below. So I was driving home last night and I heard an interesting discussion on the radio regarding referees in the Premier League and how they are asking for more money. They are asking to be paid more. And I did some research this morning, and it doesn't appear as though that is the case. That's not really what they're asking for here. It's a bit of a complicated situation, but I'll do my best to explain it to you guys. So essentially, about the PGMOL. They have been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons over these last couple of seasons, but they are the referees body. They are the people that decide the rules here in England, and also they pay the referees for the Premier League too. And the average Premier League referee can earn up to £240,000 a year, or around £20,000 a month before tax, which is a lot of money. That is a very well paid job. That is way more than what GPs earn, what anybody earns in any walk of life, really, unless you're like a high up executive or a banker or something like that. Not even the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom earns that much without expenses, of course. Good old politicians with stuff like that. But we're not talking about politics, we're talking about football. Totally less controversial controversial. Basically, Howard Webb, though, the head of the PGMOL, who was, of course, a renowned referee from back in the day, and infamous referee as well in some circles, depending on who you ask. But he's basically said that if things don't change with the PGMOL in terms of the funding, they are going to lose around £23 million over the next 5 years, which is just under £5 million per year, which is a lot. So that basically means that that organisation is being run right now and is actually losing out on money. Now, why is this? Why is the PGMOL losing money? Well, they have blamed inflation and the enhanced support system that is now in place for referees. Now, it's not too in-depth in terms of saying what these actual enhanced support systems are. I don't think it's related to VAR. It said that VAR is a reason for this because of the increased presence of match officials and obviously having to pay these officials more for their time because they're having to play more games effectively. Instead of having 4 officials on the pitch, you also have a couple more back in the VAR centre as well. So the cost of refereeing and officiating these matches is increasing because of that. But it does seem the enhanced support system, just going off of what is being said in this article here, that's relating to support when it comes to the referees' all kind of mental well-being, really, at that point. I mean, lest we forget about David Coote and the struggles that he had. An in-depth video going over David Coote and what he said, and you can blame Coote, you can blame the support system, blame who you want to blame with that one, but the fact is that nowadays there is much more support there for referees, and not without justification either, because it's a very tough job. Now, at the end of the day, some people will be thinking, well, referees, they're paid a lot of money, shouldn't they take a pay cut, really? Well, there is an argument to be had that should say that, referees might actually be entitled to more money for the amount of abuse and the difficulty of their work that they face. But then again, that argument does fall down pretty quickly, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, you can't really say that referees are underpaid on that much money. That is a load of money. That is a boatload of money. And yes, it is difficult for sure. But like I said, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom earns less money than them. He's on a smaller salary than what Premier League referees are. You can also look at lower paid jobs as well. Teachers, nurses, even doctors. I mean, doctors are well paid, don't get me wrong, but they are paid a lot less in general than that. Most people are. So I don't think the PGMOL is going to get much sympathy when it comes to this, to be honest. I mean, even if you go down to the Championship, the second tier of English football, the average referee, they actually earn around 120 grand a year. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's double the average wage of a GP here in England. So I don't really see that argument standing up. I don't think that referees should be paid more, really. I mean, you can argue that they're entitled to more because of the abuse they face and stuff like that, but have you ever tried controlling a classroom full of 30 rampant teenagers or young kids or whatever? I can imagine being a teacher is an extremely difficult job. I've never had to do that, by the way, but I could imagine what that is like. So, I don't think that argument really stands up when you compare it to other works. But at the end of the day, they pay their referees whatever they want to pay them. That is their prerogative. But the ultimate question really does kind of show, the question being posed, I should say, is that the people, they're saying that they're losing money, so how are they going to get more money in? Well, they're asking for more money in terms of the money that's coming in to subsidise this, to effectively just keep them going rather than hemorrhaging all this cash. Now, who pays the PGMOL? Well, I've looked this up. It's actually the Premier League, the English Football League, the EFL, so tiers 2 through to 4, and also the Football Association, the FA in England. So if they're going to get more money through, then they have to get it from those guys. And they're blaming inflation, they're blaming things like that, the support system and stuff like that. And for what it's worth, they'll probably get that money. But clearly, right now, their current model is unsustainable. And the fact that they are being paid so much with all the expenses and everything, that has to be one of the biggest causes for it. So, in my opinion, I don't think referees should be paid more. I think they are paid extremely well for what they do. I really do think they do. You could argue that there's a lot of people out there that aren't paid enough in the UK. 100%, that is without a doubt. Like I mentioned, teachers, nurses, people like that, they are criminally underpaid. But that's a separate issue to this. You can't really start bringing that in. But at the end of the day, you compare that to this, and honestly, you can't really have much sympathy for referees. I don't think you can. Yes, you're being abused every single week for 90 minutes or so, but you get to go home and chill out, and with that kind of income, you can afford to have a very, very comfortable life here in the UK, unless you're extremely irresponsible with gambling or anything like that. I think 240 grand a year is more than enough, and 120k for second tier referees is more than enough. That is a lot of money. me. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Do referees deserve more? Are they warranting their current salary? I want to hear what you have to say in the comments below. And of course, subscribe to thefootballchronicle.com to see much more content like this on the beautiful game. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Have a fantastic day ahead, guys. See you very soon.